Last night, the sky over Lebanon was lit up by powerful explosions as Israeli Air Force, IDF planes, attacked Hezbollah weapon depots in the city of Kisala. These explosions were not solely the result of missiles fired by the planes. Shortly after the initial attacks, there were dozens of other explosions caused by Hezbollah's weapons and ammunition stored in the depots. When these munitions explode, the impact is even greater, creating a true light show in the sky, but also a great deal of destruction on the ground. Furthermore, in this attack, the IDF succeeded in eliminating several important Hezbollah leaders, further weakening the group. Hezbollah, which is one of Israel's main enemies in the region, had been threatening the country for some time, but these attacks showed that Israel is always ready to defend itself. By destroying these weapon depots, Hezbollah loses strength and capacity to carry out new attacks, which could even have prevented a larger conflict in the future, delivering an important lesson to the group and its allies. Hezbollah, a group that has long defied Israel, suffered a severe blow with the recent IDF attacks. Israel not only destroyed the group's weapon depots, but also revealed what many believed was Hezbollah's strength. For a long time, Hezbollah boasted of its military prowess, showcasing videos and making threats, but Israel's attack demonstrated that these threats can be neutralized. By eliminating important Hezbollah leaders, Israel sent a clear message. There is no room for bluster when it comes to the country's security. These leaders were key pieces in Hezbollah's operations, and their loss means the group will struggle to organize new attacks against Israel. Additionally, with the destruction of so many weapons and ammunition, Hezbollah will have fewer resources to threaten Israel in the future. This attack may have prevented plans that Hezbollah had to attack Israel soon. By significantly weakening the group, Israel demonstrated that it is prepared to protect its borders and its people, regardless of the threats from the other side. This action gives peace in the region a better chance of being maintained, at least for now. In a troubling turn of events, Hamas, a Palestinian militant group, claimed responsibility for an attempted mass attack in Tel Aviv. This attack could have caused many deaths, but fortunately it was prevented in time. Hamas, which often works in conjunction with other groups such as the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, not only confessed to planning the attack, but also threatened to carry out new suicide attacks in the city, as they did during the Second Intifada, a period of great violence in the region. This threat brought back painful memories for many Israelis, who remember times when suicide attacks were a constant reality. Hamas claimed that it has the support of its allies and is ready to escalate its actions against Israel if deemed necessary. The Israeli police are working hard to identify and capture everyone involved in this attempted attack, reviewing security camera footage and investigating the origin of the explosives. Authorities are on high alert, and the population of Tel Aviv has been advised to stay vigilant. Security forces are determined to prevent Hamas and other terrorist groups from carrying out their plans and causing more suffering. Israel, already facing threats on multiple fronts, continues to reinforce its defenses to protect its citizens from these cowardly attacks. In a daring and dramatic operation, the Israeli forces known as the IDF succeeded in rescuing the bodies of 6 Israeli hostages who were in the hands of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. These hostages, who were captured alive during an early conflict attack, had been missing ever since. The operation took place in Khan Yunis, a heavily controlled area by Hamas, where the Israeli forces found the bodies in a hidden tunnel. This mission was carried out by some of Israel's most specialized and trained units, such as the paratroopers and the elite Yahalom unit. With the help of precise intelligence, the soldiers managed to locate the tunnel, which was part of a complex used by Hamas. In addition to recovering the bodies of the hostages, the forces also destroyed the tunnel and several weapons found on site, preventing them from being used in future attacks. The news of the recovery of the bodies was met with deep sadness in Israel. The families of the hostages, who had held out hope of reuniting with them alive, were notified with sorrow. The Israeli government and military sent their condolences to the families, reinforcing their commitment to continue searching for all hostages still in Hamas's possession. This operation shows how much Israel values each of its citizens and how willing it is to risk everything to bring them back, even under such difficult conditions. Despite the pain of loss, the recovery of the bodies allows the families to at least give their loved ones a proper funeral and begin the painful process of mourning. On Monday night, Israel sent a message to Hezbollah and all its enemies in the region. Instead of words or videos, the message arrived in the form of a massive airstrike against Hezbollah weapon depots in Baalbek, a city located about 80 kilometers north of the border with Israel. Among the targets hit was a bunker that had been featured in a recent Hezbollah video, where the group showcased its network of tunnels and missiles. The attack not only destroyed the bunker, but also triggered a series of secondary explosions that lit up the night sky for hours. These explosions were caused by the detonation of rockets and other munitions stored at the site, which were intended to be used against Israel. By destroying these weapons, Israel prevented them from being launched at communities in Galilee, a northern region of Israel frequently threatened by Hezbollah. This attack was a clear demonstration that Israel will not tolerate threats to its security. Hezbollah, considered a powerful adversary, was reminded that Israel is always one step ahead. The explosions in Baalbek were a severe blow to the group, which lost not only valuable weapons, but also a symbol of its supposed invulnerability. For Israel, this attack is part of a larger strategy to weaken Hezbollah and ensure that, in a potential confrontation, the group will be at a disadvantage. The destruction of the weapon depots in Baalbek was just one of the many steps Israel is taking to protect itself and ensure the safety of its citizens, sending a clear message that any threat will be met with full force. In another strategic move, the Israeli Air Force carried out a precise strike in the Deir Kana area in southern Lebanon, resulting in the elimination of Hussein Ali Hussein, one of Hezbollah's top leaders. Hussein was the commander of the rocket and missile unit in the Yarin area, a crucial position for the group. His elimination represents a significant loss for Hezbollah, which now has a void in the command of one of its most important units. But the attack didn't stop there. Almost simultaneously, an IDF drone targeted two other Hezbollah operatives, Abbas Badmin and Mohammed Ali Hassan, both important in the group's military structure. These operatives were involved in planning attacks against Israel, and their deaths further weaken Hezbollah's offensive capabilities. These actions showcase the effectiveness of Israeli intelligence, which manages to identify and neutralize key Hezbollah leaders with surgical precision. The death of these commanders is not only a tactical victory, but also has a significant psychological impact on Hezbollah. It demonstrates that Israel knows exactly where and how to strike the group, even in areas they consider secure. With these attacks, Israel continues to dismantle Hezbollah's command structure, making it difficult for the group to coordinate and execute future attacks. The goal is clear: to weaken Hezbollah to the point where it cannot pose a significant threat to Israel. Each leader eliminated is one less piece on the board. Israel is determined to keep removing these pieces until Hezbollah's threat is neutralized. Israel is not acting impulsively or disorganized in its confrontations with Hezbollah. Every move made by the IDF is part of a well-planned strategy to systematically weaken the organization. This plan aims to prepare the ground for a possible large-scale conflict, where Israel would have a significant advantage from the start. The first step of this plan was to remove the most immediate threats on the border, especially the anti-tank systems and Hezbollah's Radwan forces that had been accumulating in the region. These forces were strategically positioned to launch attacks on Israeli communities near the border, challenging UN Security Council Resolution 1701. The IDF managed to push these threats away, reducing the risk of sudden attacks on Israeli civilians. The second step involves the systematic elimination of Hezbollah leaders. Israel knows that the organization is structured in cells and that each cell depends on its leader to carry out operations. By eliminating figures like Hussein Ali Hussein and other commanders, Israel strikes at Hezbollah's coordination and execution capabilities, and their loss prevents the organization from planning and carrying out future attacks. Additionally, the destruction of weapon depots, such as those in Baalbek and Kisala, significantly reduces Hezbollah's arsenal, limiting its capacity to launch large-scale attacks against Israel. Finally, Israel is focused on destroying Hezbollah's military infrastructure, including tunnels, bunkers, and observation posts. These facilities were seen as strongholds by Hezbollah, but are now vulnerable targets under the IDF's gaze. With each facility destroyed, Hezbollah not only loses resources, but also morale. The group's members perceive that even their most secret hideouts are not safe. With these steps, Israel is systematically weakening Hezbollah, paving the way for a conflict where the balance of power will be in its favor. The ultimate goal is to ensure that, if a confrontation occurs, Israel can protect its population and at the same time neutralize the Hezbollah threat once and for all.